Hello and welcome to our cross-country Rivian adventure. We definitely got better at filming stuff as we went along through the trip. So at the beginning, we weren't great at explaining things on the fly, so I'll be popping in doing some after-the-fact voiceover like this. But I wanted to give a general overview of the trip and what we did and why we did it. So me, my dad and mom, and my sisters did a cross-country trip in my dad's Rivian. I live in the Boston area in Massachusetts. My family is in Virginia in the DC area. So I flew down there, and the kind of excuse to go on this trip was that my youngest sister, Allison, goes to school in California. My dad has had his Rivian for about a year, and it's billed as an adventure vehicle, and I've always wanted to drive across the United States. So what better way to do it than make it an adventure, do it in the EV, see if we can do it. I personally own a Chevy Bolt, and I kind of enjoy the planning, the logistics around charging, around planning. Yeah, so I flew down to the DC area, and then me, my parents, and my youngest sister loaded up with all of her college stuff in the Rivian, nice and packed full, cooler in the middle of the gear tunnel so that we could reach it from the inside, suitcases on either side of that. Frunk had suitcases, backpacks, whatever, and then the tonneau cover was closed permanently because we didn't want it to break while we were driving and not be able to close, and it was filled with all of Allie's school stuff. So we set out from Virginia, drove across northern route across the country out to Santa Clara near San Francisco, and then drove down California and came back the southern route. When we hit the San Francisco area, we dropped Allie off at school, and my other sister Izzy flew in. She had to work, so she couldn't come out with us, and also fitting 5 people in the car for that long of a distance, probably not going to be the most comfortable. So Izzy flew out and met us in San Francisco, and we left Allie at school. We drove back the southern route. When we hit Albuquerque, New Mexico, Izzy and I unfortunately had to leave. I had to get back to work. Izzy had to get back to her new puppy. Izzy and I got on a plane in Albuquerque, and we each headed back to our respective homes. And then mom and dad finished the trip, crossed through Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, back up through Virginia. So the car made the whole loop. I personally didn't. So when we hit Albuquerque, there'll be some more footage from my dad, but the overall amount of footage will drop. But there's a lot of footage. I have about 800 gigabytes worth of footage recorded off of this action camera and my phone throughout the trip. Driving footage at every charger. I really just want to tell the story of the trip, but with a big focus on charging infrastructure, how doing it in an EV worked, what we had to do for planning, where we ran into issues, where we ran into nice things, the pros, the cons, but it's a lot. There's a lot of footage. It was a long trip. We went about 7,720 something miles. I'll probably release this piecemeal. This first video, I'll have the first couple days, and I'll put out a new one whenever I finish editing that next segment of days. All right, well, it's now been over a year since the trip, and just over a year since I recorded that intro. I am just now finishing part 1. This part covers from leaving Virginia all the way until we reach Colorado. It's great, there's so much footage, and I have a job, so it took me a very long time to work through this. Since the trip, there's been a number of major changes that would have significantly changed how the trip went. I think it's all still very valid information, but I did want to give a little bit of an update on some of the older stuff that you'll see in this video. One, since we went on this trip, the Tesla Supercharger network has opened to non-Teslas, with Rivian being one of the first ones to gain access. That means that a lot of the sketchier chargers that we stopped at along this trip, we wouldn't have even had to deal with. We could have stopped at a supercharger, either the new Magic Docks, or with the adapter that we now have that allows us to plug my Bolt or my dad's Rivian into a large number of Tesla superchargers across the country. Secondly, a large number of the chargers that we hit, especially across Nebraska and some of the more rural areas where that charger was our only option, we ran into the older Signet units, and a lot of those have been upgraded to the new Electrify America stations that have longer cables, are balanced between all of them, and are generally a little bit nicer of an experience. That being said, we didn't really have too much issue with the ones that were there, but some of the stops, especially in Ohio and Indiana, where we showed chargers that weren't charging at full speeds, should theoretically be a better experience now than they were at that time. And now back to past me and past me. So yeah, join us on our Rivian adventure across the country and back. All right, it's time for the first leg of the journey. We're about to head out. We just finished charging up to 100%. We're at 284 miles of range in all-purpose mode, though we might switch to conserve once we're rolling. We've got our general destination plugged into the navigation here. It's actually planning for the 2 stops that I already had planned. So there's an EV Go outside Pittsburgh that we're going to stop at, and then the Rivian Adventure Network in Strongsville, and we'll make it up to where we need to go. We're going to have to charge for a little bit longer than what it says here because we need to make it from there on. We're not just stopping and charging. We want to have enough to make it a little bit up 90 on our way out of town the next day. But yeah, we're all loaded. Cameras, well, I'm holding the camera right now, but the screen for it's mounted here. It'll go right there for filming as we drive. We are loaded to the brim, gear tunnel, front trunk, bed with the tonneau closed, the tonneau that we are never opening so that it doesn't get stuck, because we're worried about that. But yeah, right now we're just leaving it closed so that we can keep stuff in there. Because Allie is headed to school, and this is the first time she's not had to fly there, we have a lot of stuff in here. It's pretty packed, but we fit it all. She's gonna have a bunch of nice stuff at school now, which will be good. Now we just need the people. We'll load on up and we'll head out. Dad, I'm gonna unplug. Are we good?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we got 26,240 miles. We're gonna try to make Pittsburgh, but there's a lot of weight in here, so we may have to change our tune.
I looked at the navigation. It was actually saying we're going to go to the charger that we wanted to go to. So it's online with us, but it doesn't know how much weight we have.
A better route planner. Yeah, there's no weight setting in the in a better route planner.
There actually is in a better route planner, just not in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, 26,240 miles. We're leaving at 10:13. Next stop, Santa Clara, California. Well, a few stops in between. All right.
I'm gonna go plug in.
Yep.
All right.
Let's go plug it in.
So what we're at, like 24 miles of range, so that went pretty well, all things considered. All right.
Figure out a better way to
record. Here we go. All right. Oh, it's a long way down.
Yeah, but Neil must be off.
All right. BB EV Go. Theoretically, it has plug-in charge, or whatever they call it, but let's plug this right in. Theoretically, it'll talk to the car. This is a large motorcycle leaving. Let's see. According to the car, it's starting. Yep, there it goes, connecting to your vehicle. Exchanging charging parameters. Checking cable safety. That's kind of cool that it tells you what it's doing now. Versus Electrify America that just fails or doesn't. And matching voltage. And there it goes. And we're at 16, 19, 21, 28, 30, 40, Sorry for the motorcycles in the background. They should be gone now. Alright, give us over 100 kilowatts. Alright. Still going up. That was nice and seamless. Let's see where it tops out. Can hear some fans spinning up. 206 looks like what it's going to stop at. Alright. Yeah, we're at 206.
What are we trying to get to?
Wise. Does this should tell us, right? Charge to nope, go back to the map. Charge to 76%.
Okay. So I'm just gonna set this.
I'll double check in Route Planner because
I want to see how long it. 35 minutes to get to 85%.
I'll have I have a better Route Planner set to go take us all the way to the next one after Sandusky, so we don't have to stop in Sandusky. So I'll double check on that. But
next one is a Rivian charger, right?
Yeah, so Rivian charger, and then into Sandusky, and then we're not charging anywhere there. And then the next day, I want to make it down 80 to that rest stop. So
Yeah.
But that was pretty easy. Oh, and we're up to 210.
I know.
kilowatts.
I was watching that. Yeah.
Got a little bit of data from Nerd Mode. We're at 503 amps, 430 volts, going at 215 kilowatts. Sorry, so we're up to 73%. We've stopped the charging. That should be good to get onto the Strongsville Rivian charger. So we're gonna unplug.
You can hear the fans spinning down.
Oh yeah, the fan's slowing down in there.
In the EV Go.
Oh yeah, in this thing too. All right, and yep.
The Auto Connect worked great.
Yep, Auto Connect worked great, and we're on our way. We are at our first ever Rivian Adventure Network charger. We rolled in with 23%. The car consistently is more efficient than what it's estimating, so that's been good. All right.
Plug in our first. It's a short cable.
Well, because they know where the port is. Does it auto charge or?
Yeah,
oh, this one is free. Stay adventurous.
They're all free still.
Oh, cool.
So after 27,000 miles, our first RAN charger.
Cool.
Just a moment.
As long as it starts. Still just a moment.
It took a long time for the EVgo one also. Whoop,
yep,
green.
There it goes. All right.
Now it'll be interesting to see how high we get.
It seems to be communicating with the truck because it says 29 minutes to go. It must be.
Yeah. We got it set at 85%.
Yeah.
How high do we need to get?
I'll check when we get back in. We're only up there's okay. We stopped at 50 kilowatts for a second. I was worried.
This is cool.
But here we go. Up past 100.
Compared to the price of the EVgo, this is
it's free.
Look at the rock down there.
Oh yeah, someone left the rock down there.
A painted rock.
It looks like we're stopping at around 160.
Yeah, it didn't do battery conditioning on the way to this.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Well, let's see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, there it goes back up. All right. Can we... Oh, we stopped at 197. Can we get past 200?
200's about where they're at.
Oh, okay. Well, 197 will do.
Okay.
In here behind Charlie's. Very cool.
Sounds like it's going to take off.
It does sound like it's going to take off. Looks like they're using the same connectors as Electrify America, pretty much. These, I don't remember what brand, but yep. Cool. All right. Charging at the Rivian Adventure Network charger. We've made it up to 213 kilowatts on the Rivian charger. We won't have to be here too long, right? Like 20 minutes?
20 minutes maybe, yeah.
And then we'll continue on to
Sandusky,
Ohio.
First day.
And that'll be it for the first day. We got to charge enough that we can make it to... There's a charger on
80.
On 90.
90.
On our way towards Grand Rapids.
Day one of a 24-day odyssey in the Rivian.
Well, yeah, 24 for you, 20 for me.
Yes. And it couldn't have started better, knock on real wood, that we've got 200 kilowatts at both stations. The last one, EVgo, was expensive. This one is free, so it balances out. And just about done. 1 hour driving to go, and we're done for the day.
All right, we're at 72%, which is more than enough. We're just going to make it to our destination for today, and then on to the next one tomorrow. Just told it to stop, so this is unlocked. Unplug, put it back. Looks like we got our max speed was 215.7 kilowatts. It was free. We got 71 kilowatts of energy. Cool. All right, and we're off. Alright, here is our day one summary. We started in Virginia in the DC area and we traveled up to Sandusky, Ohio. Overall, we went 344 miles with 2 fast charging stops. We spent a total of 54 minutes at those fast charging stops and we added 146.3 kilowatt hours of energy to the battery at those chargers. Overall, this day cost us $36.22 in charging, which is a lot less than it could have been because luckily for us, those Rivian Adventure Network chargers were still free at the time we did this trip. We did start this day with a full charge because we were at home, and that energy and that cost is not included in these stats. Overall, it was a pretty painless day one. It was a trip that everyone in the car had done a number of times, so maybe not the most interesting day, but a nice smooth start to the journey.
It's morning in Sandusky, Ohio.
And we're now headed to Grand Rapids. We're going to stop at the Blue Heron Service Plaza, Electrify America, and hopefully just be able to charge enough to get all the way there.
It seems questionable a little bit. But
there are 2 stations down. The other 2 seem to be working, but there's more we can get to if we keep going. So,
yeah. So that's our plan.
We are at our first stop. It's the, and hopefully only one for today. It's the Blue Heron Service Plaza. You find the Electrify America app. It's nice because it's actually a rest stop, it's actually a rest stop just right off the highway, and it's got a little building and stuff. So hopefully, all right.
Tesla chargers.
Whoop. It's trying to activate sheets in Bedford, Pennsylvania. That's not what I want. This one. Number 2. One of these handles it says is unavailable, so let's do this one.
Okay.
Alright.
We're plugged in.
Alright, let's see. Connecting to vehicle. Still connecting to vehicle.
Oh, there we go.
Initiating charging. Yeah, these are older.
Yeah, these are old units.
Yeah. Continue. But I was trying to see the older Signet. Oh yeah, so I don't know if, well, I guess they fixed that software issue with the surging, because these are the ones that had that issue.
Yeah, if we don't want to blow up the truck. Oh. Yikes.
What?
You can hear it.
Yep. There it goes. All right, 30 kilowatts, 40,
All right, I'm going to text
50. Well, I want to make sure we get past 70. Yep, okay. We broke 70 kilowatts. We're up in the hundreds. Should keep going up. We are going to go pretty high. We're probably going to try to head up towards 90%, because if we do that, we can probably just make it all the way to Grand Rapids and not need to stop again. But there are other stops. There's one more Electrify America on the way, and there's a couple slower, like 60 kilowatt charge points. So it should be easy enough either way. Looks like we're stopping right around 170, which is pretty good. So we were charging along at we had made it up to 200 something kilowatts, and then suddenly it just started dropping, and it's down to 44 kilowatts for no reason. We're at 50%. The car is fine. It says it's limited by the charging station. There's 3 other. This is a 4-station Electrify America. None of the other 3 are working. So there's a bunch of people here trying to charge. They're not working. We're plugged in, getting ridiculously slow speeds, considering how fast it was going. These are older Signet units, so I don't know if it's a specific issue with these older Signet units or what, but we're just gonna grab some coffee and head to the next one, because no point in sitting here at 44 kilowatts. Even if we can hit a charge point that'll give us 60 kilowatts, that'll still be faster. So I'm gonna get going, get some coffee, and we'll keep rolling. Alright, so that was a relatively unsuccessful charging stop. It very quickly started out great, very quickly went down to 43 kilowatts and had dropped to 27 by the time we unplugged. We were only at 53%, so we decided we're going to head on to the next stop. We unplugged, moved so that the next person could get in, because the other 2 of the other 3 stations weren't even working at all, so that way he can at least get to his next stop. So we're going to head up into Michigan, and we'll hit the next stop. We'll figure out where we're going to go on the drive. We're at 32%. We've made it to our charger that we were hoping to not have to stop at, but the last charger was so bad that we're here.
And these are new ones.
New ones, so hopefully these are better. All right. Hopefully these ones, being the new ones, will work better than those old Signets. Dad's activating the charger from inside on the phone. These at least have nice long cables. Alright, we'll wait until he's ready. I know you're supposed to plug in first, but it seems often that if you activate it first and then plug in, it initializes a little bit faster. I think Kyle from Out of Spec kind of figured that out on one of the trips. I don't know if it's still true, but it works. So, alright, so please plug in. I mean, I did plug in. So, hopefully, come on. Uh-oh. Might have to try the next one. Try again. Oh. Trying again. Still nothing. Alright. We're gonna have to try the next one over. I think the cord will be long enough to reach though. That one's not working. Can you activate number 2?
I have to back up, right?
Maybe. Let's see if this one reaches. No, I think it'll reach. The new ones are really long.
Still saying initiating charge.
This one's not anymore. Glad these new ones are so long. Alright, we got that one in, number 2. So now he's going to activate it from his phone.
Alright, there you go.
Yep, connecting, initiating, continue. And maybe. Weird that number 1's just not communicating at all. I'll have to mark that in plug share. It's thinking about it. Come on, give me more info than this. There we go. 16, 20, alright, we're at least getting something. We've officially surpassed the speed the last one was doing. So that's good at least. We're at 31%. I'm not sure quite how high we need to go to get to the next stop. Alright, we're at around 150, still going up. So these aren't balanced between them, but I suspect that 1 and 2 are balanced together and no one's on 1, obviously, since it's not working. Yeah, looks like we stopped around 160. That's fine. That's better than 43. So we'll charge up here. We got to see how much we need, because all we got to do is get to Grand Rapids. The friend we're staying with has an outlet we can plug into. So don't need to worry about charging, because we'll just charge overnight there. So, all right, here we go. So this charger was broken right here. So rather than move, have to back in. We just stretched it all the way over. Luckily, these new ones actually have long cables, so it reaches, but it's going up and over to there. It does reach. And we're actually up to 215 kilowatts now. Can't really see that.
Oh wow, remind me to mark
we're up
that.
to 215 kilowatts, so we're going to charge up here to about 70%, which should only really take 20 minutes or so. And we'll be headed back out, and that should be good for the day. So hopefully, I'm not jinxing myself in saying that this is our last fast charging stop for the day. Much better so far than the last one. So thank you, new Electrify America chargers. Okay, so quick update. I stopped at Chicken Shack here at the charger, which is a local Detroit fast food chain, it seems. And oh my god, this chicken is amazing. It's so good. So if you're ever at this charger, I don't even know where we are, but go to Chicken Shack. Alright, we're at 83%. So many bugs on the front. Gonna close up the frunk, unplug, and we'll be on our way. We have definitely enough to just make it all the way to Grand Rapids. right, end of day 2. On day 2, we started in Sandusky, Ohio, and we ended in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We went a relatively short distance for this trip of 319 miles with 2 fast charging stops and 57 minutes of fast charging time. We added 201.5 kilowatt hours of energy to the battery at these chargers, and we spent $39.96 total of charging cost for this journey. We did end this day at a friend's house, and they have an EV themselves, so they had home charging, which was great. We were able to plug in when we got there and start off the next day with a nice full charge. All right, so we're heading out from Grand Rapids. We charged up to 100% overnight, so we're heading from Grand Rapids to Rosie Mound to see some dunes and do a little hike to Lake Michigan. And then from there, we'll go down along the coast to, there's a Rivian Adventure Network charger we'll stop at, potentially stopping at Saugatuck and Indiana Dunes National Park. From there, we'll drive past Chicago to a Electrify America just outside of Chicago, which should give us enough to get to our hotel in Ottawa, Ottawa, Illinois, and so that we can charge up enough that the next day we can then make it onto the next charger
on the way to Omaha.
On the way to Omaha. All right, we're at 60%. We're in Benton Harbor, Michigan. We're plugging in here because our hotel tonight doesn't have a charger, and the one leading up to it looks like it's Electrify America that's having issues. It's only running at 60 kilowatts. So we figure even if we're a little bit high in the pack, we're at 60%. If we can charge it faster than 60 or 70 kilowatts for a little bit, that'll mean we can stay up that kind of broken Electrify America for as little as possible. So plugged in, we're waiting for it. It should automatically activate here. And we'll just charge until it starts to taper too much, and then we'll head back out. Here we go. Starting to charge. Ramping up. And again, as long as we're over 60% or over like 60 or 70 kilowatts, then it's probably worth it. We're about to pass by Chicago, and there are quite a few chargers in Chicago, but just for traffic reasons and stuff, we would rather not go too far into Chicago. So that's why we're not going to any of the ones that are closer to Chicago that might be better. We're going to bypass them and go to one a little bit further down. I don't remember what it's called right now, but I'll mention later. So it looks like we're at 175, which is pretty good. So that's good. Glad we stopped here because we weren't going to get this out of that broken Electrify America. So we'll charge up at least a little bit and then we'll keep rolling. All right, so we have a plan, but it requires some backstory. Dad's rule is that in order to say you've been to a state, you have to have peed in that state. Now, Allie's never been to Indiana, and we're going to be just going through the corner, and we were going to stop at Indiana Dunes, but it's much later, so we were going to just skip it, we decided. But then we realized that Allie hasn't peed in Indiana. So we're going to Indiana Dunes, if only to go into the parking lot so that Allie can use the trailhead restroom. And then we'll get a nice scenic drive through Indiana Dunes, and we'll head out from there to our charger.
To our sketchy Electrify America.
Yeah, to our Electrify America that may or may not work.
Joliet, Illinois.
Yeah. So that's the plan.
Fingers crossed.
Alright, so we are at our charger. We are in Joliet, Illinois. We have 41%. We need to charge up enough here to make it from here to our hotel tonight and then on to the next charger tomorrow, because we had a bit of a gap and a hotel with no charging. So I'm going to have Dad activate the charger for me. We'll plug in. We heard that station 2 was working. It seems that station 4 is limited to 50 kilowatts, 1 is having issues, 3 is having issues. So hopefully charger number 2 right here won't hate us too much.
Ready?
Yep, go for it.
Okay,
Alright, so he's activating it. Does plug in, grab it. These cables are so hard to twist around the correct direction. Alright, it's in. Connecting to vehicle. Initiating charging. I think we maybe hit this one at a good time too. Yeah, I've seen some reports that this is a busy one because it's really the only one off this main highway here, 94 or 80. I think it's 80. Really the only one off of 80. But looks like we hit it at a good time. There's no one here. We got to pick the charger we knew was best. And we're at 50 kilowatts. Come on. Give us more than 70. Okay, the second unit fired up. All right. I'm happy with that. We're up at 150. 154. All right, that works. We'll take that. That'll get us charged up much faster than we were expecting because we were expecting it to be a bit broken. So we're gonna go over to Panera, get some dinner, and then we'll head on to our hotel for the night, which again does not have charging tonight, but in the future, I think not every night, but most of the nights we're trying to get hotels that we can charge at. You know, I'm glad we have these chargers, and I'm glad that they exist so we can make it across the country, because it's not been so long since you couldn't do this at all. So I'm grateful they're here, I'm grateful they're working, I'm grateful we have the option, but I cannot wait for them to be at like rest stops and things. No matter what area it's in, no matter how well lit it is, a Walmart parking lot isn't really where I want to be hanging out for like half an hour at 8-9 p.m. It's just not really the most hospitable place. So yeah, I cannot wait until more and more of these are at rest stops, because that'll just make trips with these so much nicer. We've had some good ones. We've had a few at rest stops. We've had a few just directly off the highway at service plazas or in parking lots, but more of like definitely a travel center type place. This one's a little bit off the highway, definitely just your good old Walmart parking lot, and it doesn't super feel nice walking across vast empty parking lots at 8 p.m. Regardless of how safe or not safe it may actually be. But that's the reality right now of road tripping an EV, is you're gonna have to hit a couple Electrify Americas, and when you do, there's a good chance they're gonna be in a Walmart parking lot. I cannot wait for GM and EVgo's partnership to mature a little bit more, since they'll be putting in chargers at, I believe it's all the Flying J truck stops, and those are at least designed for travelers, designed for people to be coming through, so that'll be really nice. All right, we were here for about 40 minutes. We gained 65 kilowatts. We didn't really need to be here that long. We could have probably only been here for like 20 minutes, but we were grabbing food, and we had to walk through this giant empty Walmart parking lot to get it. But this will be good because we have to get to our hotel and beyond our hotel, and we have to make sure that the next charger works. So this is a nice buffer considering we're headed into uncharted territory. So this will be good. Now we get to go like an hour drive to our hotel and sleep, which I'm excited for. And that's it for day 3. On day 3, we started in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we ended in Ottawa, Illinois. We went an even shorter distance of 227 miles. A lot of that is because we spent a good amount of time doing hikes out to dunes on the lake. We spent a total of 59 minutes at fast chargers, and we only added 95.8 kilowatt hours of energy to the battery at chargers. We spent only $23.40 on charging, and this is because, once again, the Rivian Adventure Network chargers were free at this time. And overall, this wasn't really a very long day in terms of driving. We just spent a lot of time doing other things. As mentioned previously, we did start the day at our friend's house with a near full charge because they had charging at their house that we were able to use overnight. That being said, our hotel at the end of this night in Ottawa did not have charging, so that's why we needed to stop at Electrify America near the end of this day, because we needed enough charge to start off the next day and get to our next charger down the line, which wasn't ideal, but there weren't really any hotels in this area that made sense that also had overnight charging. Hello and good morning from Ottawa, Illinois. It's 6:38. We're just gonna eat some breakfast and then head out. We have a long day of driving ahead of us, so we want to get started early. Today we get to drive across all of Illinois and all of Iowa. Well, we're halfway through Illinois, but all of Iowa. Our first stop is Iowa 80, the world's largest truck stop in Iowa. They have They do have chargers. They're not the fastest chargers we could stop at. They're charge points, and they'll give us somewhere between 60 and 125 kilowatts, depending on if we're the only ones there or not. Not quite as fast as some of the Electrify Americas we could pick, but the other Electrify Americas are not at the world's largest truck stop, so we're gonna stop there. It should be fun, and we should charge reasonably fast, but it'll be a fun stop to stop at. And then from there, we'll keep trucking across Iowa. We'll stop at the Wauki Come and Go, which has an Electrify America, charge up there again, and then we're hoping to make it to the Lewis and Clark National Historic Trail before 4 p.m. when they close. So with this schedule, hopefully we'll get there right around 3. We can spend some time there, and then we will do a quick top up in Council Bluffs, with our final stop being the Marriott Cornhusker Hotel in Lincoln, Nebraska. That one has a charger in its parking garage, so we can roll in with low percent. We'll plug in, we'll charge overnight. We'll be able to start tomorrow with a full charge. So far, we had some charger tribulations yesterday with, thinking that the one that we ended up at might not be working well, but it ended up working just fine. So far, also, I think we haven't really been fully relying on the Rivian planning built into the navigation, but we totally could be. We've been rerouting due to, I've thought there might be easier charging stops for us based on plug share scores and things. It's a little bit windy out here, sorry. Based on plug share scores and things, or like fun stuff like the truck stop. But so far it hasn't routed us anywhere that I thought would be like a bad place to stop. So yeah, I think someone could probably just plug in their destination into the Rivian dash and go for it, but so far we haven't quite done that.
Drive with that behind you.
There goes a windmill blade.
He doesn't even have an he does have an oversized load truck with him. That's huge.
That's wild. Sorry, Dad, I'm reaching over you.
We might catch him on the way by.
Wow. All right, we are here at Iowa 80, the world's largest truck stop. With charge point, it's 125 kilowatts. It is split, so if there's a car on that one, it'll be half. But because we're the only ones here, it theoretically means we'll get the full 125 kilowatts. So I'm gonna tap the card, tap, there we go. Authorizing, plug in. Charge point might be slower, but it's so much nicer. These cables are lighter, easier to maneuver. Plug it in. Alright, well, the wind noise got really bad, so you get this part in voiceover. Something that some people don't realize is that these things at the top swing out a little bit, which I guess can help if the cable can't quite reach your car, but in practice, that's never really been the limiting factor with the cables on one of these stations. So now we're just kind of waiting for the truck to ramp up its charging. What I was really worried about here is that the charging would stop at about 60 kilowatts, because that would mean only one of the power units was working, but it kept going. It stopped at 80, so we didn't get the full 125 that was theoretically possible, but we did get 80, and I had planned this segment of the trip with getting 60 at this station, so we were well prepared for the time that it would take. So all in all, not a bad charging session here. About the speeds we expected, even if it wasn't ideal. Unfortunately, the wind was really bad for a lot of the outdoor segments of this charging stop and a couple other segments throughout this day, so I may need to pop in with the voiceover from time to time. These are pretty cool. Need some gas, Dad? Yeah. Or a tire inflator? Look at this thing. This is cool. Huh. Cool. There's This goes on forever. Well, there's a whole truck inside of this rest stop. That is something. Yeah, you definitely need one of those on top of your truck. Only $1,020.
Get some of these on. This is rotating.
It is rotating, wow. Look at that. It is on
I like the green.
a rotating platform. That's quite crazy. Look at that thing. That's such a look at how squishy the front is. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It looks silly. I like it though.
It's a Ford.
Well, it may not be the fastest charger in the world, but this sure beats a Walmart parking lot. The Iowa 80 truck stop, it's over there. It's massive. It's so big. There's like 2 trucks, full-size trucks inside of it. It has restaurants. It has a huge gift shop, food, all sorts of stuff. And then over here is the Iowa Trucking Museum, which is unfortunately closed on Tuesdays starting Labor Day, which was yesterday. So we can't go in there, but it looks really cool if we could go in there. So if you're here Wednesday through Sunday during the winter, or any day it seems during the summer, it looks like a really cool place to stop. So yeah, we ended up getting about 85 kilowatts through most of the time here, splitting with the car next to us once they arrived. So slower, but totally worth it because we could walk inside, wander around. There's all sorts of wild stuff going by like this. Yeah, so it was just a really fun charging spot. So if you're looking for a good time and not necessarily the world's speediest charge, this is a great place to pass the time while you charge. So we got up to 85% after that stop. We're gonna get all the way on to Milwaukee, Come and Go. Here we go, over the South Skunk River. Probably can't see it. South Skunk River.
It's kind of smelly.
Alright, we are at the Wauki Come and Go. There's a charger here. It's right off the highway. The highway is right there. This is nice, easy on-off. Let's hope it works. It's some of these older Electrify America units that we've had some problem with. But hopefully, we won't have too much issue this time. Just waiting for Dad to activate the thing from in the car. Alright.
What number were you on?
2. Alright, Dad activated the thing. It says plug in. There we go, plug it in. Alright. Connecting to vehicle. Quite bright out here, very hard to see the screen. That can sometimes be a problem with these things. They're a little bit hard to see when it's sunny. The screen is very hard to see. You just can't even see this payment thing at all. So, alright, welcome. Continue. It says thank you. It still says thank you. Contactors are clicking. Fans are spinning up. Alright, here we go. 20. We're starting our charge. Well, officially faster than the last one. Oh, look at that. 204 kilowatts. All right. Charging up. up. I'm gonna go use the restroom inside here, grab a snack, and we'll be headed off towards Omaha and the Lewis and Clark trail center. I don't remember the exact name. I'll put that on screen, but we're going to a cool bridge over in Omaha, so that's our next stop. But for now, we're up to 207 kilowatts and charging away. All right, so we've dropped down to 122 kilowatts, even though we're only at like 63%. So this one's also clearly a little bit confused. It says there's 11 minutes left to 100%, which is definitely not the truth. So you know, I don't know quite why it slowed down so much, but we're still getting more than 100 kilowatts, so that's good. We're just gonna have to be here a little bit longer than we meant to be, but that's okay. If we drop below probably like 100, we'll cut our losses here and do another stop, but I'm hoping we can stay up high enough for long enough that that we can just make it all the way to Omaha without having to stop again. But we might have to stop a second time. We're also spraying getting all the bugs off the front. There are so many bugs just splattered on the front of the car.
This thing's a bug magnet. I guess because it's, I don't know, it's so flat in the front, they smack the windshield hard too.
All right, so pretty much ready to roll out. We're at 82%. It's been about 40 minutes. We're only at 57 kilowatts, so we need to start rolling, but we do have enough to make it to Omaha and our stop there, but we decided we don't want to have to charge there before continuing on to our end stop in Lincoln, Nebraska. So we're gonna stop one more time on our way there, but it'll be a quick stop. But for now, it's time to stop here because we're not charging very fast anymore. It was a little bit longer than we really wanted it to be, 40 minutes. It tapered a bit sooner than usual, maybe because it's so hot. It is pretty hot out here today. So I'm hoping it's just because it was hot, but maybe the station was having some issues. Either way, we're charged up. We're rolling again. We're not stranded. We're just blasting our way across Iowa, and we'll make it there.
Oversized load.
What the heck do those go to?
Giant tractors.
Those are so big.
Dump trucks.
All right, we are in Avoca at the Casey's General Store. There's a Shell recharge. It was Green Lots, now it's Shell recharge. So we're gonna plug in. We're gonna see what we get. I think I can do it from the app here. Start charge. Oh, I thought I was logged in. All right, well the app has logged me out, so I'm gonna hope I have enough signal to log me back in. Log in. Yes, okay. Oh, and I have some stuff in my wallet. Start charge. Alright, plugged in. Now, these are technically 125 kilowatts or 150 kilowatt, but I think you can only get the 150 kilowatt if you have an 800 volt car. So it says initializing. That was easy enough, as long as you know to have the Green Lots or the Shell Recharge app. It used to be Green Lots, now it's Shell Recharge. Take a look over here. There are BTC power units. Let's see. Output 200 to 1,000 volts. Yeah, so 200 amp maximum. So that's probably what limits. That's probably what limits the kilowatt amount on the 400 volt cars. All right, here we go. That took a little bit of time, but not too terribly long. Wow. Well, that's clearly the charger itself, because fans in there just absolutely fired up when this thing started. So those must be the actual charger units. They are cranking the fans in that one right there. But yep, we're at 83 kilowatts, which is about what I expected, just about 80 kilowatts. So relatively flawless. We'll do a very short charge here, just so that we don't have to worry about it when we're in Omaha at our next stop, which we're just going to a cool bridge that goes between Iowa and Nebraska. And rather than have to deal with chargers when we're in the city there, figured we'd just stop here on our way in, be good. We were getting 50 at the last one, so we just waited till we tapered below 50 at the last one. Or sorry, we just waited till we tapered below 83 at the last one, because here we are back at 83. So we'll charge up a bit and we'll keep rolling. So a few quick notes about this place. First of all, charger number 1 over there doesn't seem to be working at all. The screen's just off. So it's a good thing that this was just nice to have, not something that we needed, because if someone had been here or this one wasn't working, we wouldn't have had anything. Oh, we're up to 86 kilowatts, so that's nice. We're actually ramping up. As our voltage goes up, it seems that it can handle more. But there's also a trash can and windshield wiper things up there, so that's nice to have as well, because that does not end up at a lot of charging stations. So these are definitely current limited, potentially due to the cable, because as our voltage, as we charge more, our battery pack voltage goes up, and as we've been charging, our power here has actually gone higher and higher and higher, and it mentions in the app that if you're an 800 volt car, that this is actually able to do 150 kilowatts. So seems like either the cables or the chargers have an amperage limit of some sort that keeps them from charging at their full power when you have a lower voltage. So we came in, we are not at a full 400 volts because of batteries, how batteries work. And then as we charge more, we gain enough voltage to actually charge faster. So if we had a Lucid or similar, we'd get a lot more off of these because we would have 800 volt battery packs. All right, so we're up to 70%. Like I said, our power kept going up as our battery pack voltage increased. So that's plenty to get to Omaha, Nebraska, and then on to Lincoln, Nebraska, where our hotel is. So we're gonna go ahead and stop, unplug, and head out. Well, maybe we're gonna stop. Stop. Charging stopped. All right. Unplugging. Closing this up. Looks like we were here for about 26 minutes, which is longer than we needed to be, but we were getting snacks, using the restroom, that sort of thing. So 35.9 kilowatts, 26 minutes. Not the best, not terrible. And we're in the middle of nowhere, so I can't fault it. Thank you, Avoca. Where are we? Avoca, Iowa. Now on to the Volkswagen Beetle Spider.
Yes.
That's it.
That's the Volkswagen Beetle Spider.
Everything.
With some other artwork. So where do we park?
You don't?
No idea.
I'm gonna park right here for a second and take a picture of it.
There it is. It's the Volkswagen Beetle Spider.
Why is it there?
That's a great question. Because someone made it. It's a 0.9K.
Oh, we could have gotten a Bob Marathon sticker.
Oh,
Oh man.
all right. Let's walk over the bridge. Welcome to the end of day 4 and our longest segment of part 1. On this day, we started in Ottawa, Illinois, and we traveled all the way to Lincoln, Nebraska, and the Lincoln Marriott Cornhusker Hotel. We traveled a huge distance of 520 miles this day, though we did only have to fast charge 3 times. We did spend 2 hours and 10 minutes fast charging, although it's important to note that that first charging stop at the charge point was a little bit slower than other options, but it was much more fun being the world's largest truck stop and all. Overall, we added 283.9 kilowatt hours of energy to the battery, and we spent $89.86 total charging. We did do a couple odd charges on this segment. We slow charged at the National Park Visitors Center while we were walking over that bridge. It didn't really add any noticeable amount of charge to the battery, but it was there, and so we plugged in while we were there. We did also make that little stop at the Shell Recharge, and that was partially because we wanted to go see that Volkswagen Beetle Spider, which was kind of silly, but also because we just didn't really want to have to deal with charging after our stop at the national park. The hotel in Lincoln that we ended the day at did have a charger in the garage, so we were able to plug in there when we got there and start the next day with a relatively full charge. All right, well, I accidentally filled the camera up with footage of corn yesterday. So end of the day was we pulled into Lincoln, Nebraska, and the Lincoln Marriott Cornhusker Hotel. There's a ChargePoint charger in the garage that we're plugged into. It's a standard like 6.6 kilowatt slow ChargePoint charger. One of the 2 handles wasn't working, but luckily we're the only car here using it. So the other one is. We charged overnight. We got about 78 kilowatts. It cost us like $10, so not bad at all. We're leaving at, what percent are we at, Dad? We're leaving at 86%, and today we get to just drive across all of Nebraska. There's 3 or 4 Electrify America stops we'll be making just as we make our way across the state. All right, we are in Grand Island, Nebraska, at the Quality Inn and Conference Center. It's just right off the highway here, actually pretty convenient. We're at like 47%, so we don't really need to charge quite yet, but there seem to be chargers spaced every 150 miles or so across Nebraska. We decided to go ahead and stop a little bit early because that way we can time it. Only one of the stops really has good food options. As you can see, there's not a lot around here. So we've timed it so that we can kind of hit that one that has food options. So we're stopping a little bit early this time so that we then have a nice longer trip to our food option place, and then we'll have one or two on our way through into Colorado. So, hey Dad, do you want to hit the number 2? All right, so Dad's going to activate the charger from his phone. All right, I'm going to plug in. All right, we're plugged in. For reference, because I keep having Dad activate it, basically in the app, you just swipe to activate a charger. You can tap it here, but usually it's more consistent to swipe to activate. And it tells you to plug in first and then swipe, but we found that due to the car communication, it actually usually works better to swipe before you plug in and then plug in. It tends to make the activation go a little bit faster. So that's what we've been doing. All right, there we go. Thank you for choosing Electrify America. And let's see. So here's the stop. Not much around. There's a gas station over there and a Quality Inn right here, and that's really about all that's here. We're at 80, 90. Looks like a Rivian got pretty good speeds here a couple days ago, so we're hoping. All right, we're at 170, which makes sense for this amount of charge. So we're at 45%. We'll spend 15 minutes here, so just enough to get to our next stop, and we'll be on our way. Here in Grand Island, Nebraska. There's lots of corn. That's really about it. This is kind of fun. The cabinets for this are out in the open over here. I don't know why some are different. I'm not sure what does what over here, but you can see these ones have the charger numbers on them, and the one that's attached to our charger, all the fans spun up when we fired it up. So there are 4 chargers. There are 6 cabinets here. Sounds like because we're on a 350, probably 2 of the cabinets spun up. So that's probably why there's 6, because there's 4 chargers and 2 of them can do 350 kilowatts. So those 2 probably have 2 cabinets, and the other 2 chargers probably just have 1 cabinet. All right, so our next stop is North Platte, which looks like it's about 2 hours away. Right now I've removed the charging stops from the navigation, so it's telling us charging required. It's telling us where we'll run out of charge. So I think we have another 15 minutes here. So we're at 147 kilowatts. So another 15 minutes should give us enough to get there, plus a little bit of buffer. So there's also stops, I believe, here in Kearney and here in Lexington, at least Lexington. So if you have a car that doesn't have quite as much range, or you're not able to charge as high, you can stop here in Grand Island, you can stop in Lexington, you can stop in North Platte. There's enough to kind of bounce your way through without needing to have too crazy amount of range or too crazy of a charging curve. So this would even be doable on my Bolt. I just have to stop a little bit more often if I wanted to have the optimal charging speeds, because I have the range to make it from, say, here to there, but because on a Bolt the charging tapers a lot faster, as in when I hit about 50%, my charging starts to slow down. So for me, it's worth it to stop more often and charge to lower amounts because of how much slower it charges when it's above 50%. So I'd probably, in the Bolt, go from Grand Island to Lexington to North Platte and just hit like 50% each way. Whereas here, we we've tapered a little bit. We started at 200 something, but we're still at 134 kilowatts. So that's still pretty fast, and it's still worth letting the charge happen to get to a little bit higher of a percentage and be able to skip that Lexington stop and go all the way on to North Platte. Especially considered we rolled in here with 45%, so we had a lot less time at those fast charging speeds. So this will let us roll into North Platte with a much lower percentage in the battery, which will mean we can keep those fast speeds for much longer. And then from there, we'll continue on into Colorado and towards Fort Collins, where we're staying for the night. We will probably have to stop somewhere in here. There's chargers along the way. But then, we'll go into Fort Collins, maybe run into Kyle from Out of Spec. And that's where we stay for the night before heading up into the Rocky Mountains. I don't think I was unsure. It doesn't look like this is updating live, so I'm gonna have to, in order to see if we can make it now, just exit out of the plan, hit search, go back to our North Platte charger, let it calculate again. It's trying to put in a stop in Lexington. First, we don't need to roll in with 20%. We can bump this down to something more like 10. Apply once. Looks like it still wants us to charge for 9 more minutes here before continuing on, which is good because I still have to run to the restroom, so that will be fine. We've been here for 13 minutes, so we haven't really been here for very long at all. It's going to be a pretty fast stop. Looks like just around 20 minutes. If I remove this stop here, where it says one charging stop added, if I hit that minus, it'll recalculate, and that's where it'll show us that dot. Alright, so it looks like we are to the point where we'll arrive, but it looks like we're going to arrive with like 1% or something, and we'd rather not do that, especially in the middle of Nebraska. So now we're just giving ourselves a nice buffer for arrival. So alright, looks like Mom and Allie are back, so I'm gonna head towards the restroom and then we can head out. While I'm walking in, it looks like charger 1 is fully unavailable, so that's the one with the CHAdeMO port. So one of the downsides of if you're driving like a Nissan Leaf or an older EV is you probably have a CHAdeMO port, and at this station you can't charge here because the CHAdeMO charger, which they always leave one around even when they do upgrades, seems to be fully down. But for CCS cars and Teslas with adapters, 2, 3, and 4 appear to all be working. Now, we didn't try all 3 of them, but they all appear to be working. So, yep. So far, we've had pretty good luck with Electrify America. We've been checking PlugShare beforehand to pick the charger that has the best chance of working when we roll in, and they've all been pretty empty. But I suspect our luck will change as we approach California and more EV areas. Well, looks like the wind noise got me again, so here I am in voiceover. I was just giving an update on the weather. It was a pretty nice day temperature-wise, just under 60 degrees Fahrenheit or so, which was a nice change given the previous days had been very hot. The haze that you see throughout this day was due to smoke from wildfires that were burning in Canada at the time, so the air quality was pretty horrible, and it was a really weird, spooky vibe. Here are our chargers up here. We are, not unexpectedly, the only people out here on these chargers, but they're working great, so. Alright, let's see where we're at. Hello? Let's see where we're at. Let's see if we can get there with more than 7 miles of range. North Platte.
Walmart, exciting.
It's North Platte, yeah.
North Platte. Oh, good, a Walmart.
Oh, good, a Walmart?
What the heck? It's got very confused. It says that we'll get there with
210. We're gonna gain miles.
No, because it was saying.
Yeah, it said we'll get there in 1 minute.
Take us to this one.
Yeah, it's trying to take us to this one. It got confused. See?
Oh, yeah.
This is not North Platte. And yet... Well, let me see. Maybe if I trick it by... Maybe it thought I was plugging that in. Because that, I believe it. But when I put in North Platte...
There we go.
Nope, it's still doing that.
Because it wants us to stop here and charge.
Well, but
that
it's
one.
not telling us that. Let me just bump this down. Nope, it's still confused. Still trying to get us to go here, even though it didn't say that. See?
Still
It's
trying to
very
get us to go where?
confused. To go here. Somehow it's confused North Platte with this charger. So let me just plug in a completely different.
83.
Now
Right.
let's see if I can maybe unconfuse it. North Platte.
What was the top speed you saw here?
I saw 100 and... No, it's doing it again.
Please, will you hand
That's
me my
so
notebook
weird.
and that glasses case?
Notebook?
That's very strange.
Glasses case?
Thank you.
Bingo card?
Maybe if I just click on it on the map and hit start. Nope, it's still saying it's 1
It
minute
might
away.
adjust. Oh, because it thinks we're going right here.
Yeah, but
So click on...
well, no. So it normally it would tell me if it was making a stop,
Right.
but and it would have here's the rest of your route. But for some reason, it's confused and it thinks that North Platte. It's trying to navigate us to the complete wrong place.
You saw 180?
I saw 180, I think. Yeah.
Want to try it again after we get rolling?
Sure. Let me just put in North Platte as a
Let's see, without the charge.
city.
Walmart North Platte.
Oh, yeah, let's do that. No, that's the charger again.
Oh.
North. Maybe if I do it from here. Let's see. Because it was previous. There we go. Yeah, it must have gotten really confused because it was previously asking us as part of the route plan to stop here and finish charging before we can make it there.
Right.
And it somehow got it confused and started thinking that here was there. But looks like
We're still
we'll
getting
have
82
plenty of
kilowatts.
range on the way there. Yeah, but
82
we'll get...
miles.
We're down to 55 kilowatts, Dad. So-
the phone says 82.
So we'll
Yeah.
head out now because we're tapered way down. We're
Right.
almost at 80%, so that makes sense. All right, unplugging. Putting it back in here. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, not too bad. $7. All right, finish, and we're out of here. We are at North Platte in Nebraska. We actually made pretty good progress across Nebraska. It's very foggy out here. We're at Electrify America. It's in a pretty typical Walmart parking lot. We're at about 19%, so we're cruising at good speed across most of Nebraska there. Only a couple trucks passing each other with 1 mile an hour speed differences. That activated. We're gonna plug in. I didn't look at I was driving this leg, so I didn't look at plug share coming in, so hopefully this one works. Let's see, connecting. This is there's two 350s and two 150s. Then one Chatamo. None of them are saying that they don't work here, but you know, that's not necessarily always the best. They don't always say when they're broken. Yeah, this is the biggest town along our path today, so we kind of adjusted things so we could hit this one. So we're gonna grab some food while we're in here. There looks like there's plenty of stuff around here in North Platte, Nebraska. Alright, here we go. It's starting to ramp. Looks like both units are operational. I keep saying that. Earlier when we looked at those chargers that weren't inside of a little box, there were two units for the ones that are 350, and sometimes if the second one doesn't work, you'll stop at a lower kilowatt amount. Alright, 155. Could be faster, could also be much lower. So I think we'll stay here. It should, I think it will slowly increase, potentially as our pack voltage goes up, but also as the car just cools and gets ready. It was conditioning to charge as we were getting here, but we've been driving hard, so hopefully this number goes up, but it's better than 80, so I'll take it for now. I'm going to get in the car and figure out how much we need for our next stop. Alright, so we were here for quite a while, longer than we probably needed to be. We're almost at 90%. We've gotten like 101 kilowatt hours of energy. We're tapered way down to 42 kilowatts, so not going very fast anymore, but we're almost at 90%. We've been here for like an hour. We're going to go get food. There wasn't really any food options we wanted right here, so we're going to grab food just across the highway over there, which was a Strode, so we couldn't really walk there. Thank you, Strodes. I wish it was just walkable, because I can see it from here, but no. Strode. Anyway, so we're gonna stop charging, we're gonna go on, but being charged this high lets us get all the way down to, I forgot the name of it, but I'll put it on screen. Let's just get all the way down to somewhere in the middle of Colorado, where there's a charge point, one of the new 200 kilowatt charge point units, which would let us cut across to our hotel in Fort Collins. If that one doesn't work, then we do have enough buffer to make it down to Electrify America, which is a slightly longer route, but has more options for charging. So we won't get stuck. Is the point. All right, we've unplugged. Yeah, we were here for an hour, but we went from 20% all the way up to 90%. So not bad. Only was $18. So we'll close up and we'll be on our way. right, we are in Sterling, Colorado. We've made it to Colorado. We are at 24%. I'm hoping I can reach this cord all the way across at this charge point unit. Oh, it's the one on this side. So this is going to be fun. I'm not sure it's going to reach, but we're going to try. There it goes. All right. Let's see if this will reach. We're going to have to back in.
But I've taken a picture before they
right.
reset it, so.
Here we go. All right, we have moved slightly, so hopefully now we're in a better spot to do this. I'm gonna retap, or at least attempt to. Come on, charge point card. All right, there we go. Now let's try. These like arms up here swing around, so you can kind of pull on it and it swings out. And then in place. Ugh. Heavy, but these connectors are better at least. All right, there we go. And the other car just left, so hopefully we'll get more speed. It says waiting for EV. I'm hearing clicks, but it's still waiting for EV. There it goes. Charging, it's spinning up. Let's see how much we get. 38. Well, it just stopped at 38. It's supposed to go much higher than that. So we might switch to the other one. Oh, nope. 40, 47, 55, 64, 77. Okay, so maybe it just needs a second to figure things out. Yep, it stopped at 70 again, and then launched its way up to 118. All right, maybe we'll get one more kick. It's interesting, it seems to like stop at specific levels to think about it. Yep, here it goes again. 140. I don't think we're going to get too much higher than that, but maybe. It's interesting, it seems to jump way up, stop, step down a little bit, and then really go for it and push it up farther. But I think for now this might be where we're settling in. Man, the fans in the truck and over there are all really going. Yeah, 140. Alright, looks like that might be where we're at. Alright, we're about to head out of Sterling, Colorado. There are so many bugs on the front of this car, it's disgusting. But there's not really a gas station with the squeegee thing for us to use. So, but these charge points worked. I mean, we didn't have anyone there. We'd probably get half the speed if we had both people plugged in, but this one worked great. We're still at 120 kilowatts, but we have enough to get to Fort Collins in our hotel for the night. Fairfield Inn in Fort Collins, a nice little plaza here. Lots of food and restaurants and things, and there are 4 slower charge point chargers. So there's one with 2 here and one on the other side over there, so you can pull through if you have a trailer or something, which is nice. Plug in. So we're gonna plug in and charge overnight. Let's see how much it costs. Looks like it's 30 cents a kilowatt hour. The first 5 hours are free, and then an additional 50 cents an hour after that. So probably not the cheapest ones, but it'll be good to leave a full charge tomorrow. All right, so we were at the slow charger at our hotel, and the first one cut out so while we were eating dinner. So we moved over to the other one on the other side, and now since we've gone back, that first one, the screen is fully off. So something weird's going on there. The second one was kind of cutting in and out, jumping between 6 kilowatts and no kilowatts and 6 kilowatts. From the ChargePoint app end, it looked like the truck was doing something, but given that the other ChargePoint charger was just fully blank when we came back, it was probably something going on with the power to the chargers, whether it was a breaker flipping or something else. Clearly there was an issue of some sort. So we're just driving 10 minutes, like 9 miles down to the Loveland Electrify America, because it's close, and because tomorrow we're driving up into Rocky Mountain National Park and going on a bunch of like some dirt trails and roads that go way up and stuff. So we don't really want to have to charge on our way in. We have a timed ticket on the way in. There are chargers we could hit in the morning, but we have to leave early. We have to get there early. So we're just going over tonight, fast charging up to what, probably like 70%. And then we'll plug in again when we get back, and if it on and off works overnight up to 100, great. And if not, oh well. So that was our first fully failed charger.
Luckily, it was working, but we weren't sure how long it was going to keep. It was sliding in and out.
It was our first one that really wasn't going to do what we needed it to do all the way. But luckily it was a slow charger that we were planning on using overnight, so it's not like we're in the middle of a long drive somewhere, like stuck in the middle of Nebraska. We're in Colorado. There's lots of chargers. We have lots of options.
And we know Kyle's used this one.
Yeah, we know Kyle's used this one, so hopefully this one works. It's the new Electrify America units. So there's 3 of the new ones and 1 old Signet, I believe, with the CHAdeMO. So we'll go plug into this one for a little bit and then go home and sleep. We're here at the Loveland Electrify America, which Kyle is at all the time. We plugged in, we were cranking along, we hit the fastest speeds we've seen so far, which I didn't get a video of, but we were up at 220 kilowatts. Just cranking along, chatting with the nice people, charging their new Nero next to us. And then I glanced back over the screen and we're down to 42 kilowatts. The car is saying that it's being limited by the charger, so I'm not quite sure why we went from 220 kilowatts all the way down to 42. We don't really want to be charging at 42 kilowatts, and these are balanced, so I was thinking, oh, maybe it's because we're sharing with them, but they've been charging the whole time we've been plugged in and haven't really sped up. They've been at 60 kilowatts the whole time, so I'm not really sure why we're suddenly all the way down to 42 kilowatts. So maybe we'll unplug, plug back in, and see what happens. Okay. Dad's over here spraying the front of the car with bug remover goo, because there's
Adam's bug remover.
There's
from Adam's Polishes.
So much bugs from this drive across Nebraska, all over the windshield, all over the front. We don't have a full squeegee, but we've just sprayed this stuff everywhere, letting it sit in, and then we'll wipe it off. It should get most of the bugs off. But yeah, so doing that. I'm gonna unplug and plug back in and see if we can maybe get better than 42 kilowatts here, because this is not good. All right, so the when I unplugged this one, number 3, I noticed that the cable is really warm. So I'm thinking that potentially the cable cooling in this one might be broken. So rather than just unplug and plug back in, we decided to try this one, see what happens. So far, I mean, this is better than 40 kilowatts, but we'll see if it holds. But it's ramping back up, and hopefully it holds. And when we're up charging, I'll feel the cable and see if it's feeling as warm as that other one. Yeah, here we go. We're back up. We're over 200. There we go. Now I have a video proof that this happened. 223 kilowatts. So I'm thinking the cable cooling on that one might be toast. We're at 223 kilowatts.
Oh, wow.
224.
How's the cable feel?
Well, it's just started, so it hasn't had a chance to warm up yet. Feels just fine, though. All right, well, glad we moved over because the other one had already tapered before it dropped. It had gone from 225. The other one had gone from 220 down to like 200 before dropping. Oh, 197. I wonder if these still have that issue. For a while, 196. For a while, these had an issue where they would give the Rivian more power than it could take, and then it would drop way down. But it's down to 197 after topping out at 225.
What are we at? How many percent?
We're at
it'll stay 200 for a while.
Yeah.
51%.
Yeah, we're at 51%. All right, well, we'll see what happens. I'll see if the cable gets as warm as that other one did. But we're charging again. Wow, the fans are going crazy in the front of the Rivian here, though. I don't know if you can hear them, but they're really going for it in here with all the bugs. All right, so we made it up to 85%. We're charging for 28 minutes. Down at the end there, we had definitely tapered a bit, but none of the same issues we were having before. It stayed pretty high for most of the things, so Charger 3 definitely having some kind of issue of some sort. Other people have reported that as well. But we're good. We're up to 85%. That's plenty to get us in and around the park tomorrow. And it only took us like 28 minutes. So, yeah. So overall, a successful charging station once we moved from 3 to 2. Our friends over here, their car has just hit 100%, and they're not back yet. So, oh, and this Leaf to our left. So both cars that were charging here when we got here, or both cars that were here other than us, are now at 100% and just holding up chargers. But what can you do? That one kind of works, and we're about to leave this one open, so one will be open.
And I had to shut the door and open it again because it adjusted the seat for your phone.
Yeah, every time that, because it adjusts the seat based on who opens the door, and it's pretty good when you're opening it from the outside of picking whether it's me or him to move the seat forward or back. But if I'm sitting in the car and he gets out and then opens the door, it ends up picking up mine and crunching the seat on him.
So I get out, shut the door, open it again, then it adjusts for me.
So all right, well, we're on the road again.
I guess I could just do that.
Again. We're driving 9 minutes back to the hotel.
I could just do that from the screen, I guess, but
it works to close the door and open it again. So
all right.
We're
off.
All right, sorry, it's dark. We're driving back. I don't want to turn the light on while Dad's driving, but we've been noticing a really weird behavior where whenever we fast charge, when you're charged near 100%, there's nowhere to put the energy of your regen. So it'll start to show you on the meter, on the speedometer, kind of like, hey, your regen's limited because your battery is full. And every time we fast charge, it puts that up. It says, you only have half of your regen capacity because you've been fast charging and you're at a high percentage. But we've been noticing it happen at 90%, 85%, 75%, the same amount. And then we'll drive for like 1 minute, 3 minutes maybe, and it'll go away and be fine. So even if we're just sitting at a stoplight. So I don't know what's going on, if it's too hot for regen or something, but it's a little bit strange because it's the same warning every time. It's saying that the the capacity is too high for full regen, but it's been happening as low as 75 or 85%, where we know there's plenty of capacity for regen, and in fact, right now it's gone away and we have full regen. So not really an issue that affects anything because it goes away really fast, but definitely an odd one. We are back at ye old charge point at the Fairfield Inn. It's back up at 6 kilowatts. It's charging again. There's the other half of this one and then the one over there free, so we don't feel it too bad plugging in. I mean, anyone else plugged in here would be having probably the same issues, so if it stops charging overnight, it's not ideal, but it would have done that on anyone, so we might as well at least try. We're going to try to hit 100%, but it's probably going to keep jumping up and down, so we might not make it all the way there, but that's fine. We have more than enough to make it anywhere we need to go tomorrow. And that's the end of day 5 of our Rivian road trip, and also the last day of part 1. On day 5, we started in Lincoln, Nebraska, and we ended in Fort Collins, Colorado. This was our second longest day. We traveled 485 miles with 4 total fast charging stops, totaling 2 hours and 19 minutes of fast charging. We added a whopping 300 kilowatt hours of energy to the battery at fast chargers for a total cost of $86.01. We did start the day at a hotel that had charging overnight. We did not make it fully to 100%, but it got us a really nice, good start. We could start with a nice, long driving leg. We then hit 2 Electrify Americas and the ChargePoint charger that was in Colorado. We did end the day at a hotel with the slow charger, but as you saw, it really wasn't working well, so we drove over to that nearby Electrify America and then back to the slow charger, which did end up working on and off enough overnight that we did leave the next day with a pretty full charge. And with that, we've concluded part 1. We started part 1 in Virginia in the Washington, D.C. area, and we ended all the way in Fort Collins, Colorado. Overall, part 1 covers 1,895 miles of driving, 13 fast charging stops, 7 hours and 20 minutes of fast charging, 1,033.5 kilowatt hours of energy added at chargers, $275.45 of total charging cost, and 4 overnights that had charging, with the others not having charging. Overall, part 1 definitely isn't the most interesting segment of this trip. There was a lot of really unique stuff to see along here, and a lot of areas that I had never seen before. So it was definitely worth it, and definitely not as boring as people like to tell you driving across the middle of the country is. It was wild to see all the wind turbines in Iowa, and the vast fields in Nebraska and in the eastern side of Colorado. Overall, this was a really cool portion of the trip, but it doesn't really have as much of the visual wow factor of the next part. So stay tuned for part 2, which includes off-roading, technical difficulties. When we started going again, the AC wasn't cooling down. It was just blowing hot ambient air at us, and we're going out of the mountains and into Utah, so it's getting warmer. Soggy cameras. We accidentally dropped the camera into Lake Tahoe. And overall, just a lot of really cool rock formations. See you next time.